afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another Mad Meta Magic, where we try to make the magic meta mad. Now, I was requested to play Twiddle-storm not that long ago by Noxon19, who is a big contributor to the channel. Over on Twitch when we stream live, lots of gifted subs from Noxon, and figured the best way was to, for his donation, his channel points redemption is what it was, request was Twiddle-storm. So here we are. This is a list that actually 5-0'd in a Moto Competitive Modern League on the 8th of January, so it's actually extremely recent, by, oh shoot, Seiden Raken? Seiden Raken? Something like that was the username. But, and it was, yes, on the 8th of January, 2021. So, for those of you that don't know what Twiddle-storm is, it revolves around playing Lotus Field, untapping it a whole bunch of times for less mana than it taps for, digging through your deck, splicing onto Arcane, and then, you know, the old Grape Shot, Past in Flames, Grape Shot, Storm Kill. Out of the sideboard, to help protect this, we have a bunch of cheap counter spells, some Echoing Truths, and an Aria of Flame as an alternative win condition to Grape Shot. I'm not very familiar with the sideboarding plan for this deck, but I do like playing Storm, even if I'm not necessarily good at it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and try and play Lotus Field in a competitive Modern League. I'll see you guys in round one. Alrighty, round one, here we go. Alright, we'll play first. 2020 Modern Showcase Prestige frame. Cool. And here I am with my Withengar Unbound avatar. I hope one of these days I'm able to brew up an incredibly broken deck just right before a big tournament. Take it to a big finish. Even if it was just a one-time 15 minutes of fame type thing, I think I would have... That would be an accomplishment. That's something I want to do before I ever eventually stop playing Magic. I don't know, like 40 years down the line. Alright, opponent is an Obosh deck, so they're probably burn. This hand is not keepable. Alright, well, we have a few cantrips here, but no Lotus Field, no second land. I'm gonna go to 5. It really strikes me as we need land, Lotus Field. Okay. So, Merchant Scroll is important, potentially, to grab Psychic Puppetry. So we keep this hand. I guess I have Peer. I'm going to put back Reach Through the Mists and Merchant Scroll. So we'll start Island past the turn. Whoop, that's my video processor. It's going in the background now. Okay, opponent starts at Bombat Courier. We'll opt. Peer Through the Depths. I'll keep a second copy of Peer Through the Depths. We are going to need a Twiddle of some kind. Hopefully Peer can get us there. Opponent attacks us for 1. We untap. We draw Reach Through the Mists. Play an island, pass the turn. My opponent untaps. I think it's really interesting that, like, the arcane mechanic from Kamigawa, of all things, kind of, like, coalesced into a deck with the printing of Lotus Field. That's just something that's really cool to me, because everybody kind of, like, used to meme about arcane being not really a thing in any way. But it worked, it's a thing, so... I'll go ahead and peer. I did find a Psychic Puppetry. Alright, rest of the bottom in any order. And this looks like enough to go off. Because I can start with Reach Through the Mist, Psychic Puppetry, then Peer Through the Depths, Psychic Puppetry. Oh yeah, no, we got it. So float some blue mana, play Lotus Field, sack the islands, hold control, cast and splice, targeting Lotus Field. So draw a card, untap Lotus Field. We will use its ability. Float mana. Cast and splice. Okay. Draw a card. Untap. Okay. So now we need a big draw spell. So we peer and splice. Okay. Pay 1. We take Peer. Rest of the bottom in any order. untap. Then we peer and splice. Then we take Ideas Unbound, because this is one of the big draw spells here. Rest of the bottom. We will untap Lotus Field. Float blue mana. Cast and Splice onto Lotus Field. We will use Ideas Unbound's ability, and this is why repetitive, like, repetitive effects are so broken, even when they're not necessarily very good, if that makes sense. Like, this is why Splice onto Arcane is either terrible or incredibly broken. And any effect like it, like Retrace has similar, like, ceilings for stuff. Okay, so we are going to Dream's Grip to untap a permanent. Float blue mana. Actually, do I want to float red here? If I float red, I can Past in Flames. Yeah, I wanna float red and Past in Flames, I think. Past in Flames takes us down to 4 mana. This is where being inexperienced with the combo really sucks. If I Past in Flames, it takes us down to 4, or takes us down to 2 mana. We can reach through the mists, splice. Okay, so I have to spend all of my red mana if I'm doing this. So we Past in Flames. Then we reach through the mist, flashback, splice additional spells. Okay. We will use its ability. Float blue. Reach through the mists, flashback, splice additional spells onto Lotus Field. Okay. We will use its ability. Float mana. Dream's Grip, untap. Float mana. Alright. Ideas Unbound, untap. Yep. Then we can peer and splice. I don't think there's a way to... Okay. Get a reach through the mists. Rest to the bottom. We will untap. Double splice I don't think works. At least not very well. Okay, we'll go ahead and twiddle just to start generating some mana. Then we can opt. I will draw Dream's Grip. This time I'm going to float red. Untap. Float blue. Opt. We already have a Past in Flames in the grave. I don't need another one. We're just looking for Grape Shot. Opt. Sure. Ideas Unbound. Cast and Splice. Targeting Lotus Field. Okay. We will use its ability. Float blue. Psychic Puppetry. Float blue. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue. Sleight of Hand. I guess take Past in Flames, because at this point it's just cheaper. Cycle Lonely Sandbar. Cast Psychic Puppetry. Untap. Float blue. Cycle Lonely Sandbar. We found a spell. Okay, so... Peer, Splice. We find Grape Shot. Rest of the bottom. Use its ability. Grape Shot for lethal. And we got there. That only took 12 minutes of comboing. Whew. Alright, okay, so versus Burn. What do we want versus Burn? We may want some Spell Pierces. We also might just want to do what we were already doing. I suspect my opponent is going to be playing Blood Moon out of the side, or may even have Blood Moon in the main deck for, what is it called? Because they're playing Obosh, and the Obosh version generally does. I think in this scenario, I'm going to drop Dispel and run Spell Pierce. I'm also going to cut... There's some consideration I should be playing Aria of Flame, just because it's a faster win. And if my opponent is playing Blood Moon, it's easier to land Aria of Flame. I'm going to try bringing one in here. Think over a Serum Visions? No. Over an Opt. Now, like I said, I don't know exactly how I should be sideboarding here. We already have an Echoing Truth in the main. But I'm really suspecting my opponent has Blood Moon, and I should have some way of digging far enough that, I mean, in theory, we're going to get lands with this many cantrips. We do have Psychic Puppetry already. Yeah, I'm going to try keeping. I'm not exactly sure how to mulligan with this deck. I'm kind of learning as I go here. Opponent starts Soulscar Mage. We draw Aria of Flame. So play Snow-Covered Island. We'll Sleight of Hand. I'll take a redundant Psychic Puppetry, I guess. But did not find a land, unfortunately. Opponent plays a second mountain into a Swift Spear, into a Relic. Okay, makes us exile Sleight of Hand. Hits us for 4. We untap. We draw an Ideas Unbound. So, cast Reach through the Mists. And we're going to have a bad time. We're going to discard, I think, Ideas Unbound. We're going to discard a Psychic Puppetry. I don't, in general, need 2. Okay, opponent plays Blast Zone. They stomp our face. Then they hit us for 4, unless they have another spell. A Lava Dart. Okay, so we're taking a lot of damage here. Exile Psychic Puppetry. Take 6, go to 7. We untap and draw Serum Visions. This probably means we're dead. We draw Talaria West. Twiddle and Grape Shot to the bottom of the deck. Play Talaria West. If we can top deck Lotus Field, I think we win. Okay, opponent stomps again. This takes us to 1. Oh, they can flashback Lava Dart. I thought they already had flashback Lava Dart, so... Alright, they got us. Okay. Don't want to make any other adjustments. I definitely want to keep a 2-lander and or mulligan to Lotus Field. I think I'm going to cut a Merchant Scroll for another Aria of Flame. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Yeah, alright. I think we're kind of favored as long as we have a quick combo. Because they don't really... It's not like they're going to counter our spells unless they have Guttural Response, which I don't think any burn player plays right now. We have 2 lands. We have Serum Visions and Opt, and then Peer. We do need to find our land. I'm going to keep because we're on the play with this. This would be a lot sketchier hand if we were on the draw, but... So Serum Visions, we draw Island, which is good. We can Merchant Scroll next turn to find Psychic Puppetry. Reach through the Mists to the bottom, Merchant Scroll on top. Pass the turn. It's also possible that I should have just dumped both of those to the bottom and tried to dig for Lotus Field, but if we draw a 3rd land, we can actually transmute for Lotus Field. Okay. Play Snow-Covered Island. We'll go get Psychic Puppetry. The nice thing about our opponent being an Obosh deck is there's no chance for like an Eidolon of the Great Revel, which tends to completely dunk on Storm decks. Okay, they play a Bombat Courier. Attack for 2. Exiling a card. We take 2, we go down to 17. Opponent lights up the stage. We get Soul Scar and another light up the stage. Alright, so we start with an Opt, Reach through the Mists to the bottom, cast Reach through the Mists, find Sleight of Hand. Okay, I'm going to play out Talaria West now, pass the turn. Just looking for that Lotus Field and we're pretty much good to go. Okay, they Blood Moon us. We draw another Talaria West. Okay. So we can play Talaria West, then play Aria of Flame. Opponent gains 10 life, but then we can untap an island, reverse counter, save targets on our opponent, Sleight of Hand, verse counter. We can get a Lotus Field as a land, or we can get Past in Flames. Just get a Lotus Field, I think. Pass the turn. Oh man, then I can play Lotus Field, Echoing Truth, Blood Moon, and then Peer Psychic Puppetry. Maybe I needed to take, I don't know. We'll see. Opponent has a lot of opportunity to do a bunch of damage here. They could actually kill us. Alright, they play Seasoned Pyromancer, discard the last 2 cards in their hand, which happen to be Lava Dart and Bone Crusher. Play a second Swift Spear. They can Lava Dart us to do a total of 6 damage if they want, but they don't. We draw another Lotus Field. Okay, so we're playing a Lotus Field this turn. It enters untapped. Then we Echoing Truth, bouncing Blood Moon. Opponent takes some damage. We gotta get some really good hits off this Peer, though. Float Blue, Cast and Splice, targeting Lotus Field. Okay. Peer finds us. You Reach through the Mists, rest to the bottom, untap. Cast and Splice onto Lotus Field. Okay. We draw a card, untap Lotus Field, cycle Lonely Sandbar, get another Reach Through the Mists, splice onto Lotus Field, untap. We're one spell short? Are you kidding me? Oh my goodness, we are one spell short? No way. I guess I needed to take Past in Flames and I didn't. Huh. Wow. I can Psychic Puppetry to tap something with Prowess before it attacks. There's a really good chance I'm dead, because my opponent has Lava Dart and a ton of attackers. But I guess that's really my only chance. If my opponent decides to take any damage for any reason, there's also that. If they tap Fiery Islet for mana, as an example. Because I'm pretty sure... Put a counter on it. Yeah, they need to take 1 damage. 1 damage and they die. They sack Fiery Islet for a draw. They play another Swift Spear. They go to combat. So that's 2, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. 12 with Lava Dart. And I could prevent 2 by Psychic Puppetrying a Swift Spear. Which is my best chance. I could go to 1 if my opponent cannot cast any spells here. Yep. So I definitely sequenced incorrectly. Because I'm pretty sure we had our opponent dead. Oh, they had another Lava Dart in hand, so it didn't matter. Okay. Well, we learned something, and that was really close. Yeah, I think, well, we had to take Lotus Field for the Echoing Truth part to work. Maybe I didn't need to get the mana from Lotus Field. Maybe the plan was just to, like, Echoing Truth their guys or something. I don't know. I'm not an expert, but that was close, and it felt winnable. So I'm gonna chalk that up to I punted somewhere, but I don't understand where necessarily. I will play first. We have a Pier, we have an Opt, and a Dream's Grip, 2 Talaria Wests. I think there are better 6s for this hand. This might be one of them. We need another land for this to work, and we have no cantrips, though. I'm gonna go to 5. Okay. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna put back Lotus Field and Past in Flames. We're gonna start Talaria West. We just need to draw another land, and we can, like, start comboing off. I can use Reach Through the Mists for a redraw if I feel it's necessary, depending on what my opponent is playing and what kind of clock we're looking at. Basic Plains. Okay. We draw an Opt. Start with Opt. Sleight of Hand to the bottom. We draw a Pier, pass the turn. So if my opponent has Death and Taxes, and they play you can only cast 1 spell a turn, 2/3, we are in trouble. Okay, they freebooter us because it's actually humans. So opponent should take Psychic Puppetry here. They could take Reach Through the Mists, as it is our only castable spell at the moment. They take Merchant Scroll. Okay. We untap. Draw Psychic Puppetry. Okay. Well, at this point, I am going to cast Reach Through the Mists. Draw an Echoing Truth. Pass the turn. We just need a land, and we can start comboing. We need a land and we need to get lucky, but we need to start with a land. Opponent plays an unclaimed territory naming Human. Plays what appears to be a Noble Hierarch. Yup. Into a second freebooter? That's punishing. I mean, if we get a land, we get an Echoing Truth at the end step and get our cards back, so they might just take Echoing Truth. We need both Psychic Puppetries to combo currently, or we have to wait for Lotus Field to untap naturally, which is doable. That's not a huge deal. Opponent takes Echoing Truth. As long as they don't follow up with Thalia right now, we should be fine. But we just need to draw a land. Land would be great. Land for me, please. Okay, we draw a Sleight of Hand. Cast a Sleight of Hand. Take Pier. Pass the turn. Come on, land. Land, land, land. Doesn't even need to be an untapped land. I just need a land. Magus? Kessig Malcontents. Well, opponent is playing an old list, because I can tell you that playing this card is not correct in humans. This card is very much a win more card. And humans is so good. Like, you don't need to be playing Kessig Malcontents. And then they play Phantasmal Image on Kessig Malcontents. So they're going to hit us for 2. And they're going to untap and hit us for 8. So, well, I guess it worked out for them, but we go down to 7. We draw an island. If my opponent does not play some kind of lord, we might be able to Psychic Puppetry to kill a Kessig Malcontents. We play a Horizon Canopy. They sack Horizon Canopy. They go to combat. If they do... if we survive this, we have to top deck Twiddle or Dream's Grip. So we kill the Kessig Malcontents, take 5, go to 2. And we need to draw Twiddle, Dream's Grip, or Psychic Puppetry number 3. Any one of those can actually potentially let us win the game here, provided our opponent does not play Thalia or Magus of the Moon's second main phase. We untap and draw Serum Visions, which unfortunately I don't think is going to do it. Alright, float mana. Play Lotus Field. Sack our other 2 lands. Psychic Puppetry. Untap. I guess technically Reach Through the Mists would have been an okay draw there too. We had a lot of draws. So Peer Through the Depths. So we can Twiddle to untap, but then we're still in the same spot we were. So play Serum Visions. We draw Lonely Sandbar. Other 2 to the bottom. Yeah. Alright. We tried. We just didn't draw a land for 5 turns. Okay, I've got a feeling we need the Echoing Truths. Dispel isn't going to matter. We can cut... I think an Opt. Actually, I kind of want the Pongifies over the Echoing Truths. I'll keep 1 Echoing Truth because it is powerful. And maybe we want an Aria Flame just in case we draw Grapeshot early. But I don't know about that. Let's try running it back now. Alright. I'll play first. Well, we have multiple lands, but we're holding Grapeshot. We can Serum Visions, we just need to find a Lotus Field and Psychic Puppetry. It seems like a tall order. This is already kind of a mulligan to 6 because I'm worried about this Grapeshot, so I'm going to go to 6. Okay. We can keep this and put back Past in Flames. This kind of seems like the opener this deck wants. If we can draw another land, we can transmute Talaria West for a Lotus Field, though that will come a little bit late. Even if our opponent plays Magus of the Moon, we're playing at least 3 cantrips to dig through our deck. So start Snow-Covered Island, we'll play Serum Visions. Draw Reach Through the Mists. Man, I don't want to put Grapeshot on the bottom, but I think I've gotta. So Ideas Unbound and Grapeshot to the bottom, pass the turn. So we need to shuffle at some point. Opponent plays an Ancient Ziggurat. Noble Hierarch. We untap. We draw an Opt. Okay, Sleight of Hand I think is better comboing than Opt is, so we're going to Opt first. Reach Through the Mist to the bottom. Draw Serum Visions. Play Talaria West, pass the turn. Next turn we can Sleight of Hand into a Serum Visions. I guess the nice thing about this deck is you're going to be digging really hard for the combo piece if you don't have it. Don't you dare Thalia me. Okay. It's just a Champion of the Parish. False alarm. Oh no. Opponent plays Cavern, naming Human. Damping Sphere! Now I need that Echoing Truth. I didn't realize they played Damping Sphere out of the sideboard when their main deck includes Thalia. We draw Pongify. So start Serum Visions. Draw an Island. Lotus Field Psychic Puppetry. I want to draw Lotus Field next turn. And I want to draw Psychic Puppetry as well. So we play Snow-Covered Island. Yeah. Snow-Covered Island and pass. So this gives us the option of Reach Through the Mists to draw or Pongify on something that could be threatening, like Thalia. I probably wouldn't have brought in Pongify like at all had I known Damping Sphere was a thing. Okay. Red, blue. whites for a Mantis Rider. Yep. Okay, they put a counter on champion. So we can either fog with Pongify or reach through the mists here. I think I cast reach through the mists, because we kind of need to draw both the cards I put back. But we also need to find an Echoing Truth now before I can actually go off. Okay, we untap, we draw Psychic Puppetry, go to our main phase, and we Sleight of Hand. Ideas Unbound. Let's us draw a card. Or draw cards. We don't really need any more lands, I don't think. Maybe we do. I'll take Ideas Unbound. Okay. So we'll play Lotus Field now. And we'll sack Teleria West and Snow-Covered Island, leaving the untapped island for Pongify, which I will use on like a Freebooter or a Thalia. I have to take one hit from their board, because if they're smart, they'll play at second combat, or second main phase after combat. Unless they just want to play humans now to get counters on champion, which I guess is also a valid way to go. They start by cracking Horizon Canopy. Opponent plays Relic, which at this point we're not really worried about. I don't think we're going to get to buy back the Grave anyway. Opponent goes to combat, attacks us for 5. Okay, we have to take 5. And we basically have to save this Pongify for Thalia, because I'm like, they play Thalia, and they definitely play at least like 3 in the deck, because she's so good. Okay, so I'm going to cast Reach Through Mists, draw Lonely Sandbar, untap, we get a Peer Through the Depths. Now if I cast Peer Through the Depths, I can't cast like anything else. I can't cast a Echoing Truth even if I get it. Oh, and Damping Sphere totally shuts off my mana anyway. I should never have played Lotus Field. Not the way I did. Okay. In that case, go to our main phase, play Lonely Sandbar. We have to... The following things have to happen. We have to not die on our opponent's turn. We have to Peer Through the Depths, hitting exactly Echoing Truth, which we only have one of in the deck, because I forgot that our opponent apparently plays Damping Sphere in the side. And then we have to get very lucky going off with an Ideas Unbound Psychic Puppetry. At no point can our opponent have Disruption, or we just lose. They've been top decking a lot of lands, which I guess is good news for us. Okay, opponent plays Thalia's Lieutenant, which will do 3 more damage. This takes us to 2. Come on. Okay, Noble. That does 1 more damage. That takes us to 1. So thankfully we are not dead long enough to peer and try and hit the land we need. Or try and hit the Echoing Truth that we need to hit. The nice thing about playing a super linear combo deck like what we're playing right now is that generally in order to win, it's easily identified what needs to happen in order to win. No matter how unlikely the situation gets. And I find that that brings me a lot of comfort for when I get tilted. So, like, if I peer here, and I don't hit the Echoing Truth, then it's like, okay, game over. We knew it. We did everything we needed to do. No Echoing Truth. So we have 1 draw to draw it. And we didn't. Okay. I'll try and play better these next couple rounds. I'm going to go ahead and reset the client, and then we'll move on to round 3. Alrighty, round 3, here we go. I'll play first. That's a mulligan. Okay, this one I think will work. I'm going to put back Reach Through the Mists. Okay. So in theory, we have tutors for our combo pieces. We start Serum Visions, putting Serum Visions and Merchant Scroll on the bottom. Ideas Unbound is a fairly welcome draw here. Any land gets us up to Transmute for Lotus Field. We draw Dispel, which, if my opponent is playing a control deck, will be nice. Go ahead and Merchant Scroll here. Let's get a Psychic Puppetry. Pass the turn. Opponent fetches up a Zagoth Triome, so this is either regular Uro Omnath or Sultai Uro Omnath. We draw Peer. I think we play Teleria West and Peer on our opponent's end step. I don't want to, because I want to transmute, but... In theory, my opponent is not going to play anything for a while, or if they do, they're going to tap out for something, which may open the opportunity for us to win. We do have to be careful about Force of Negation, though. Okay, opponent fetches up a Watery Grave tapped. It does appear to be the Sultai version. They play a Hinterland Harbor. They cast Uro, so we peer through the depths. I'll take an Opt. Rest of the bottom. Okay, Uro enters the battlefield, and they sack Uro, gaining 3 life, putting a Misty into play. We untap, draw another Ideas Unbound, Opt to the bottom. Kind of tempted to just fire off an Ideas Unbound here. So I think I'm going to... This is kind of the equivalent of draw 3 cards and then discard 4. So we'll play an island, sleight of hand, take a serum... Well, we'll take an Ideas Unbound. Alright, then we pass the turn, and we have to discard 3 cards, which means we are discarding Merchant Scroll, Dream's Grip, and I think Peer Through the Depths here. Just need that Lotus Field. We have more than enough mana now that we can make up any, like, we'll be able to hold up Dispel when we're going to go combo. So we can get through a counterspell. When it plays an island, this is a turn that they could play Uro and hold up a 2-mana counter. But they do not. So we untap and draw Talaria West. So let's go ahead and transmute. Get Lotus Field. Play Lotus Field, sack Talaria West and an island, and then pass the turn, leaving up Dispel. But it has some kind of play on our end step. Shark Typhoon X3, okay. They untap, play an island, and they pass attacking for 3, okay. Alright. We untap, draw an island. So play an island. Splice Psychic Puppetry onto Lotus Field. Okay. Pay triple blue. Untap. Cast and Splice onto Lotus Field. Untap. Cast and Splice. I mean, I could start tapping my opponent's lands. That is technically something I could do here. Cast and Splice. But I don't want to pay too much extra mana. Untap Lotus Field. We'll go ahead and opt. Serum Visions. Yeah, I'll keep a Serum Visions. Cast Serum Visions. We draw Past in Flames. Kind of want to draw both of these cards. So, Cast and Splice. Untap. Cast and Splice. Untap. Cast Serum Visions. Draw another Psychic Puppetry. Twiddle and Sleight of Hand. Twiddle to the bottom. Sleight of Hand to the top. Cast Splice. Sleight of Hand. Take Lonely Sandbar. Float blue. Untap. Float red. Untap. Blue, blue. Cast Past in Flames. So my opponent plays Mana Leak, which we can just pay for. Cast our last Psychic Puppetry, though this is going to drastically limit our mana post. So we have 4 mana. I can go up to 5. Okay. Yes, I think this is worth doing now. Second mana leak on the Psychic Puppetry. Okay, well, we'll let that one... Do we have any Twiddles in the grave at all? A single Dream's Grip? Okay, that might be enough then. If I counter this mana leak, we go to 4 mana. If I let this resolve, we're stuck at 2. And then we're going to 1. We'll be at 1 either way. So let this mana leak resolve. Dispel this mana leak. Alright, opponent decides they can't beat that. I don't know, I really think my opponent had me there. I think that was just kind of a rage quit. So triple Mystical Dispute in. Triple Spell Pierce in. Okay, what are we going down? What is not good here? I think regular Twiddle can come out. Merchant Scroll can probably come out, because it is just a tutor. And then we can cut an Opt and a Sleight of Hand. I think this is how we set up for playing against our opponent. Hopefully that's enough. No interaction, lacking combo pieces. I'm going to go down to 6. This I actually like a lot, especially because I can put Grape Shot back. So this way we have all the mana we need. We just need to find Psychic Puppetry and any sort of interaction. So start Snow-Covered Island, pass the turn. We'll opt on our opponent's turn to represent Mystical Dispute. Okay, opponent plays a Forest. We opt. Opponent Growth Spirals in response. Sure. Another opt to the bottom. We draw Spell Pierce. Okay. Untap, we draw Peer Through the Depths. So play an island. Pass the turn. Leave up Spell Pierce, and we can try and peer through the depths to see if we can find Psychic Puppetry. Opponent plays an Uro. Sure. They sack Uro. They draw a card. Put a tap land into play. But they still have mana for a Mystical Dispute or... Let's see. Well, we found the Psychic Puppetry. Rest of the bottom. And we draw Dispel. Can't go off this turn. So the question is it better to have an untapped Lotus Field next turn? No. So we play Talaria West here, I think. Problem is, we're still going to be mana short. Because at no point will we be able to Ideas Unbound, Splice Psychic Puppetry. Alright, I guess that means we have to wait. Play Talaria West and pass. Turn off auto yields because I'm really bad at doing that. Okay, we untap. We draw Peer Through the Depths. Play Lotus Field. Let the trigger resolve. Try casting Peer and splicing Psychic Puppetry. Our opponent may let this go, thinking they'll just counter Past in Flames again. Okay, opponent Cryptics. Okay, pass the turn. So next turn we can Ideas Unbound, Splice, and hold up Spell Pierce / Dispel. I think what my opponent was doing in the first game is because we started with Ideas Unbound, they were like, oh, he's going to have to discard at the end of turn and I'm holding a bunch of counter spells, so I can just counter whatever he plays like around Past in Flames time, and then he's going to discard his whole hand when he's done. Which is not a bad way to go, really. The problem is now my opponent is presenting a clock with these zombie tokens. And we only have one true counter spell right now in the form of Dispel. Okay. Well, we will try Ideas Unbound. Have to force our opponent to do something. There's a Mystical Dispute. We will use Dispel. Snapcaster for Cryptic. Man, I wish we had one more mana. Because Spell Pierce on this Cryptic and we would just win. Okay. Okay, opponent plays a land, makes a zombie. Man, maybe this deck needs Veil of Summer. Because, like, pre-combo... Veil of Summer would be pretty good. Alright. Ideas Unbound. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent Fact or Fiction. So they brought in Aether Gust in case we had Veil. I guess we'll say, I don't know, Fact or Fiction Aether Gust versus lands. Aether Gust is not useful. Well, I guess Aether Gust can hit Past in Flames, I suppose. Okay. Opponent plays a land for Field of the Dead. They're going to hit us for 8 down to 2. We know 2 of the cards in our opponent's hand. Opponent plays another Uro. Draws a card, gains life, sacks Uro. Putting a Misty into play. Opt. Okay, Dream's Grip. Dream's Grip I think actually helps because we can tap for mana, Dream's Grip, then tap Peer Puppetry. But we're getting really thin on stuff because we've tried to combo 3 turns in a row here. I think I have to put this on the bottom and hope for like a... Well, I drew Dream's Grip anyway, so I guess that decision was made for me. Can we draw another Spell Pierce? So what we do here... Start with Dream's Grip, untap permanent. In this deck, Dream's Grip is actually Dark Ritual, which is pretty sweet. Untap Lotus Field. But we're going to need some more like Ideas Unbound and Peer Through the Depths if we're ever going to hope to combo here. Opponent Fact or Fictions in response. So we Spell Pierce the Fact or Fiction. Okay. They let it get countered because they're still trying to hold up Aether Gust for Past in Flames. Need some really good Peer Through the Depths action here. Opponent has Mana Leak. Spell Pierce Mana Leak. Last card in hand is an Aether Gust they can't cast, so... This has to be it. This is the all or nothing combo. Peer Through the Depths finds us. Ideas Unbound, Past in Flames, Reach Through the Mists. I think it's got to be Ideas Unbound. Any order. Untap. Cast and Splice. We got to get some really good cards, though. It's not looking good, but it is possible. Untap. Then we Serum Visions. Drawing a land. Talaria Snow-Covered to the bottom. Float mana. Cast and Splice. Untap. And that does it. Yeah, it wasn't likely, but it was still possible. I guess I could have tried to hold on a little bit longer before trying to combo there, but we do get to go to Game 3. In Game 3, I think we stay set up as we are. Alright, I'd like to play first. That's a mulligan. This is a keep, but it is a very slow keep. So put back Grape Shot, start Talaria West. If we can draw a Peer Through the Mists, or a Peer Through the Depths, or another Reach Through the Mists, or an Ideas Unbound, any cantrip other than Reach Through the Mists I would cast here. Play Lonely Sandbar, pass the turn. Opponent untaps. They play a Polluted Delta. Okay. We untap. Draw Past in Flames. Float mana. Play Lotus Field. Sack 2 lands, and I don't think we go for it. I did that to see if I could bait something out of my opponent as like a preemptive... Some kind of preemptive action from them. Alright, opponent cracks Polluted Delta. Gets a Breeding Pool tapped. They untap. Play Polluted Delta, crack Polluted Delta, and find Watery Grave. They play Uro. So if they put a blue land untapped into play, they probably have Mystical Dispute. Like Misty. As an example, we draw an Ideas Unbound. Well, I think if it was ever going to work, now is the time. I'm pretty sure they have the spell here. Mystical Dispute, but... Oh, they have Force of Negation. That is somehow even worse. Pass the turn. Maybe I should have started with Reach Through the Mists then and tried to protect Ideas Unbound. I was thinking they wouldn't counter Reach Through the Mists, though, because it's just a cycle. Doesn't really do anything. Opponent casts a Veil of Summer just to draw. They play Field of Ruin. On their second main, I think they're going to play Uro. Yep. And we can't even flash that Ideas Unbound back. That's disheartening. They put a Mystic Sanctuary into play. We untap. We draw Pier. Yeah. Alright, we're just... gotta go for it now. It doesn't get any better by waiting at this point. Not with an active Uro, and they're going to be drawing multiple cards a turn. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and concede that match. This deck is powerful, and I know it gets better. Like, I don't have an extremely strong grasp on the mulligans, which is a problem. I understand the combo, I understand what cards you need for the combo, but I'm not familiar with what is the best way to, like, bait out counter spells for your opponent, and that sort of a thing. Alrighty. Round 4, here we go. We have Psychic Puppetry, Peer Through the Depths, but we'd have to... We also have 2 Reach Through the Mists. The problem here is we have to draw another land and a Lotus Field. I don't know how likely that is. It's basically a mulligan to 6 anyway because we had the... Past in Flames in hand, so mulliganing to 6 I think is fine. This hand is way better, putting back Talaria Wests. Now we just need to find a Psychic Puppetry, and we have the turn 3 win. Oh, man. Opponent starts Steam Vents, untapped. They mulligan to 5. If they play... I was going to say, if they play Serum Visions, they're Storm. If they don't, they're Blitz. We draw Sleight of Hand. So play Island. Start with a Sleight of Hand. Dispel and Lonely Sandbar. I'm going to take Lonely Sandbar. Like I said, we are currently looking for Psychic Puppetry, which might mean next turn we are taking a turn off to cycle Lonely Sandbar, play any other cantrips we may have. Opponent plays a Sprite Dragon, attacks us for 2. They only have 2 cards left in hand, and my opponent's deck doesn't generally play main deck counter spells. So cycle Lonely Sandbar, we get another island, play an island, pass the turn. I'm going to Reach Through the Mists on my opponent's end step. Actually, no, I'm going to peer through the... I can't peer through the depths. I'm going to Reach Through the Mists on my opponent's end step. Wow. Speaking is getting much harder for me, it feels like. So I'm going to check out recent Blitz lists because I want to know what my opponent could be playing out of the side. And they may bring in Aether Gust. They do have Surgical Extraction, so we have to be careful if we get Psychic Puppetries in the grave. They do play Blood Moon and Mystical Dispute. All things we must be concerned with. Okay, our opponent attacks us for 4. I am just now realizing that today is Friday. Time and space has completely become meaningless to me right now in the Twilight world that I currently live in. Okay. Burst Lightning, Swift Spear, and a Scalding Tarn. Opponent plays out their Swift Spear. So we'll go ahead and Reach Through the Mists. We find an Opt. Untap. We draw another Ideas Unbound. If we Opt and Psychic Puppetry is in the top 2 cards of our deck, we win. So I think that's the game plan currently. Serum Visions to the bottom. We get a Peer Through the Depths. So play Snow-Covered Island, pass. Now, on our opponent's turn, we can Peer Through the Depths. We can use Dream's Grip if we need to stay alive. Okay, they play a tap land, which is... It probably means that we're going to stay alive. They Burst Lightning us. We're going to take a lot of damage. Currently 8 damage, and we're at 12. When it goes to combat, they just basically have to not have a Lightning Bolt in hand. Okay, they don't. We go to 4. Alright, Peer Through the Depths. We get a Merchant Scroll. So next turn we have 1, 2, 3, 5 mana. Yeah, Merchant Scroll does it. Because I can play Lotus Field, float 3 islands, Go down to 2 floating mana, untap Lotus Field, have 5 mana, Merchant Scroll for Psychic Puppetry, and win. Okay. Nice. We draw another Peer Through the Depths. Alright, go to our main phase. Float mana. Play Lotus Field. Sack 2 islands. Untap Lotus Field. Merchant Scroll. Psychic Puppetry. Splice onto an Ideas Unbound. We kind of just need raw cards in hand at the moment. We will use Ideas Unbound's ability there. Cast and Splice onto Lotus Field. Okay. Untap Ideas Unbound. Or untap Lotus Field with Ideas Unbound. Okay. Float mana. Untap Lotus Field with Dream's Grip. Float mana. Cast and Splice Peer Through the Depths. Get Past in Flames. Rest of the bottom any order. Untap. Float blue mana. Cast and Splice another Peer Through the Depths. I think we're just looking for a Twiddle at this point. Reach Through the Mists works, because it's cheaper. And it generates mana. So float blue, cast and Splice, use Reach Through the Mists ability. Now we can float red mana. We can cast Psychic Puppetry out of hand, but I think that's dangerous. I think if I just use all my red mana, I can Reach Through the Mists a couple of times. Yeah, okay. So use up all the red mana. Past in Flames. Reach Through the Mists. Flashback. Psychic Puppetry. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue. Dream's Grip. Untap. Float blue. This feels a lot like casting a bunch of Dark Rituals, which feels super cool, by the way. Alright. Reach Through the Mists. Psychic Puppetry. Untap. Yeah. This feels like a lot of blue Dark Rituals. Storm count is 13, opponent has 17 life, so we... Ideas Unbound. Psychic Puppetry. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue. Psychic Puppetry. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue. Sleight of Hand. Serum Visions. Bottom. Psychic Puppetry. Lotus Field. Untap. Float red. Grape Shot. Same targets all the way down. Alright. Now. Yeah, I think a green splash in this deck would be sick. Like if we did Fetch Land, Breeding Pool, out of the side we could play things like Weather the Storm and Veil of Summer, and I think that would be very strong in a deck like this. So we have to play around Surgical. My opponent will have Relic, potentially Mystical Dispute, and Aether Gust. So we will need some number of counterspell effects. And they will play Blood Moon, so we may want Echoing Truths. Actually, Mystical Dispute is stronger than Spell Pierce here, though we may want both. So drop a couple of Twiddles. Drop the Merchant Scrolls, even though they're strong. Maybe that's why I was failing to combo, actually, before. Maybe the Merchant Scrolls are more important than I'm giving them credit for right now. Maybe we should just be cutting, like, random non-arcane cantrips. So we'll cut 2 Opts and 2 Sleight of Hands, and 1 Merchant Scroll. If my opponent is playing Blood Moon, I think I'm actually just going to only have 1 Echoing Truth in the main, and I'll play Aria Flame instead. I think Dispel is probably also worse than an Aria Flame. Okay. We will try it like this. Well, we have 2 cantrips to try and find another land. We do have Mystical Dispute and Spell Pierce. The only way this goes wrong is if my opponent has a very fast Blood Moon, which is possible. Okay, opponent starts Bloodstained Mire, cracks Bloodstained Mire for a Steam Vents untapped into a Soul Scar Mage. They did mulligan. Okay, we draw an island, perfect. Play an island, Serum Visions. We draw Sleight of Hand. Both of these lands to the bottom. We shouldn't need either one. Pass the turn. Next turn, we're going to play Lonely Sandbar and leave up Spell Pierce / Mystical Dispute. I wish I had been able to dispute that. Okay, we untap. We draw another island. So play the island because we do want untapped mana here. Pass the turn. Now we have some combination of Dispute, Spell Pierce, and Opt. So my opponent gut shots us. Okay. I think I would Spell Pierce a Light Up the Stage. Stormwing Entity. Well, I will dispute that. I don't want my opponent scrying or doing any of the nastiness involved with that. So we need to find Psychic Puppetry, and we need to get some arcane spells. That's what we're currently looking for right now. So go ahead and opt. Ideas Unbound, I'll put on top. We untap. Draw a Reach Through the Mists. So now we just need Psychic Puppetry. In that case, what I'm going to do this turn is Sleight of Hand. I've got a second Mystic... Well, do I need another Mystical Dispute? My opponent could have another Haste Blue creature, so I'm going to say yes. I'm going to play Lonely Sandbar this turn. Pass the turn. Next turn, we need to build up just a little bit more mana to be able to Merchant Scroll for something. Okay, opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire. Goes to combat. Attacks for 3. Sure. They Lightning Bolt us. Okay, can't do anything about that. So we take our 8 damage and go to 5. Okay, and my opponent does nothing. Cast Reach Through the Mists here. We draw Psychic Puppetry. Okay, should be good to go now. We untap. We draw Echoing Truth. Float mana. Play Lotus Field. Oh, you know what? I needed that, because now I'm not able to cast Ideas Unbound with Psychic Puppetry backup. So their last card in hand can't be a counterspell. That's how this works out right now. If it's a counterspell, we die to Sprite Dragon on the... Yep. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't have cantripped, but I also wouldn't have drawn what I did when I did, so... Okay. Sad days. Run it back as is. Alright, I'll play first. We have better openers. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, as far as mulligans go, this one's not that bad. So I'm going to keep. We'll put back Dream's Grip. Play Snow-Covered Island. Pass. At least we have multiple Mystical Disputes if our opponent's first creature is like a Stormwing Entity, or a Sprite Dragon, or a Delver, which I guess is not impossible, it's just not super likely. Opponent fetches up a basic mountain into a Soul Scar Mage. Alright. We untap, draw Lotus Field, play out Talaria West, pass the turn. Opponent Mutagenic Growths. Yep, that's a lot of damage. Plays a Spire Bluff Canal. Stormwing Entity. No. They hit us for 4. We untap and draw Psychic Puppetry. That doesn't quite do it. We need one more mana. So play our island, pass the turn. We have Mystical Dispute for anything our opponent could play, and then next turn we can start with the whole Lotus Field Psychic Puppetry shenanigans. Opponent bolts our face. Yep, you got it. Light up the stage. Yep, you got it. Sprite Dragon Manamorphose. Opponent plays a tap land. Alright, then it looks like we will actually be able to start the combo, but we've got to get some really good hits off of Peer Through the Depths, or draw another arcane spell here. Okay. We did not. Play Lotus Field. Sack 2 lands. Peer Splice Puppetry. On field. Ideas Unbound. Okay. Rest to the bottom. Untap Lotus Field. Ideas Unbound. Splice Puppetry. onto Lotus Field. Okay. Float 3 blue. Untap Lotus Field. Oh yeah, we got it. Definitely have it now. Splice Puppetry. Lotus Field. Okay. Untap Lotus Field. Blue. Reach through the mists. Splice Puppetry. Onto field. Okay. Untap. Blue. Peer through the depths. Splice Puppetry. Onto field. Okay. Pay 1. Sure. Reveal an instant or sorcery. We gotta take a Past in Flames here. Rest of the bottom. Any order. Untap. Blue. Peer. Splice Puppetry. Onto field. Okay. We need a Twiddle or a Reach through the mists. Take Reach. Any order. Untap. I currently have 4 mana. I can get up to 5. And we do, I think... Oh, no, I actually needed that Twiddle. Because otherwise I have to... Ah, crap. I think I just punted. Let's see. Hang on. I mean, we're definitely doing this. Use its ability. Okay, everything was fine. Nobody worried. We're good. I get to Ritual there. Float blue. Past in Flames. Okay. Then... Reach through the mists. Flashback. Psychic Puppetry. Lotus Field. Splice. Okay. Yes. Float blue. Ideas Unbound. Splice Puppetry. Lotus Field. Okay. Yes. Untap Lotus Field. We found Grape Shot. Float blue. Dream's Grip. Untap. Lotus Field. Float blue. Peer. Splice Puppetry. Onto Lotus Field. Okay. Pay 1. Sure. Pick up. Opt. Rest of the bottom. Any order. Untap. Yes. Blue mana. Peer through the depths. Splice Puppetry. Onto Lotus Field. Okay. Pay 1. Reveal an instant or sorcery. We'll take Reach through mists. Any order. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue mana. Reach through the mists. Splice Puppetry. Onto Lotus Field. Okay. Untap. Ideas Unbound. Splice Puppetry. Onto Lotus Field. Oh, you know what? Hang on. Control Z, Control Z. I have to float first because I have 3 floating blue mana. Almost punted. That was almost terrible for me. Okay. Because it's tap or untap, I would have actually just paid all my mana and tapped my Lotus Field if I had done that. Whew! After all that robotic talking, I'm glad I figured that out. Untap. Alright, then we can just opt. Serum Visions. Bottom. Float blue. I'm just getting a little bit over what is necessary with the storm count here. I'm not trying to BM, I just don't think... I don't know if my opponent could have, like, some free effect that gained them life or something. Okay. Grape Shot. Lethal storm count. Targeting takes forever, especially when Moto's lagging. Okay. F6. Nice. Alright, we're 1-3. I'm gonna restart the client and we'll play the last round really quick. Alrighty. Round 5, here we go. I think with a little bit more disciplined plays, slightly more luck, and better knowledge of the deck, I could have easily 4-1'd this league. I guess we'll see how this one goes, but let's see. We have Serum Visions, Dream's Grip, Psychic Puppetry. Okay, I will keep. Opponent starts Breeding Pool tapped. Sure. We draw up here. So play an island, Serum Visions, draw Lotus Field, excellent. Twiddle to the bottom, Reach through mists on top. Pass the turn. Next turn we're going to play Talaria West because Lonely Sandbar has some utility as an actual cantrip. And if my opponent taps down to 1 land, I could actually just Dream's Grip their land if I was really worried about it. Play Talaria West, pass the turn. Alright, opponent untaps. They play a Castle Vantress. Yeah, I'm going to cycle Lonely Sandbar. We draw an island. Untap. Draw another island. Well, I don't think we're in any rush here. So I'm going to cast Merchant Scroll. And either try and bait a counterspell or go get Dispel. Pass the turn. And unless my opponent played against Twiddle-storm recently, they probably don't know what we're on. Opponent plays a Forest into a Wilderness Reclamation. Okay. You get to untap all their lands. We untap. Draw Sleight of Hand. So, float some blue mana. Lotus Field. Sack those lands we just used. Untap Lotus Field. Cast Reach Through Mists, Splice Puppetry, Lotus Field. Okay. Float blue. We draw an Opt. Untap Lotus Field. Then we Peer, Splice Puppetry, Lotus Field. Okay. Pay 1. Draw Ideas Unbound. Okay. Untap. Float mana. Splice Puppetry onto Lotus Field. Okay. Untap Lotus Field. Float mana. Dream's Grip. Untap Lotus Field. Float mana. Peer. Splice Puppetry onto Lotus Field. Okay. Pay 1, sure. Is it too early for Past in Flames? I don't think it is. I think we're good to take Past in Flames now. Rest of the bottom, any order. Untap Lotus Field. So we have more than enough mana here. Cast Past in Flames. Then we Dream's Grip. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue. Dream's Grip. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue. Reach Through the Mists. Splice Puppetry. Untap Lotus Field. Sure. Peer Through the Depths. Splice Puppetry. Lotus Field. Sure. Pay 1. Take Ideas Unbound. We're just looking for Grape Shot at this point. While trying to be wary of any sort of like counterspells that could occur. Peer Through the Depths, Splice Puppetry on the Lotus Field. Okay, pay 1, sure. Take Twiddle. Rest of the bottom, any order. Untap. Float blue. Twiddle. Untap. Float blue. Serum Visions out of grave. Draw Serum Visions. Both of these cards to the top. I want them. Reach Through the Mists. Splice Puppetry. Lotus Field. Okay. Untap. Ideas Unbound. Psychic Puppetry. Lotus Field. Okay. Untap. Yep. Peer. Splice Puppetry. Pay 1. Get Reach. Any order. Yes. Untap. Float blue. Reach Through the Mists. Psychic Puppetry. Lotus Field. Okay. Untap. I know we're real cerebral commentary right now. And I apologize for that. Float blue. Ideas Unbound. Splice Psychic Puppetry. Okay. Untap. We found the Grape Shot. We're going to go for a little bit more just in case my opponent does have like a Pulsive Narasa. I think is the card I'm going to try and play around here. So, Peer Through the Depths. Splice Puppetry. Lotus Field. Okay. Get a Dream's Grip. Rest of the bottom, any order. Yes, untap. Float blue. Dream's Grip. Untap Lotus Field. Float blue. Serum Visions. Bottom. Dream's Grip on top. Serum Visions. Top. Dream's Grip. Untap. Float blue. Echoing Truth. Wilderness Reclamation. Psychic Puppetry. Cast Lotus Field. Untap. Float red mana. Grape Shot. Playing around Pulse of Marasa. I wish there was a button that was same targets for all of your Storm copies on the stack. If someone knows of this, and is better versed in Magic Online Ease than I am, please let me know. Nice. Probably my opponent was trying to factor fiction or something there. I'm just glad that worked out the way it did. Okay, so we definitely want Spell Pierce and Mystical Dispute. Dispel is still going to be good here as well. I'll cut a Merchant Scroll. I'll cut a Sleight of Hand, 2 Opts, a Serum Visions, and another Opt. Try it like this. Never cut Reach Through Mists. That is something I've learned. And I didn't do it, which is good. Alright, well we have 2 Psychic Puppetries, a Cantrip, and plenty of lands. No interaction. I'm going to mulligan. Okay, I like this a lot better. I will keep, and I'm putting back putting back Talaria West. I could have kept it for the transmute on Lotus Field, but... Alright, opponent plays Flooded Strand. We untap. We draw Talaria West, just like we put it back on top of the deck. Draw Faceted Flames, Dream's Grip, both of those to the bottom. Pass the turn. So now we just start holding up things like Mystical Dispute as we look for Lotus Field. Either we're going to transmute for it, or... I don't know. We untap. We draw Lotus Field. Don't even need the Talaria West. So I'm going to play the Talaria West out. I'm going to leave up Mystical Dispute this time. Okay. And I think I'm going to play out to at least... I'm going to wait for a couple extra turns. Because I have hardcast Mystical Dispute. Like if my opponent tries to tap out for a Wilderness Wreck next turn, we can just get them. I mean, if I draw a Pier or an Ideas Unbound, I will be able to just get them. So opponent, on our end step, cracks Misty. Gets a Temple Garden tapped. Okay. I wonder if they're playing Bring to Light. They play a Field of Ruin. And they're passing, purposefully not holding up Cryptic. Alright, we untap. Draw Spell Pierce. So float 2 blue. Play Lotus Field. Sack Talaria West and an island. And I think I'm just going to pass, leaving up Spell Pierce, Mystical Dispute. Factor Fiction. This is not what I considered. I am actually going to dispute this. My opponent would have to have Force to actually get this Factor Fiction to resolve. They're going to use this as an opportunity to get down Wilderness Reclamation, so they're not going to run out of mana anytime soon. But if we can protect the combo, we just need to draw an Ideas Unbound or a Peer Through the Depths so that we can like start going off. We should be able to protect it with Spell Pierce, especially if my opponent's counterspell of choice is going to be Cryptic Command, which now it can be. We untap, draw an island, play an island, pass the turn. Alright. Opponent does nothing on our end step, they just untap. They play Mystic Sanctuary, putting Factor Fiction on top of their deck. We untap. Draw Echoing Truth. That makes me feel a lot safer about passing turn this time. I do wish we had Veil of Summer. It'd be so easy to splash. Okay, opponent shocks Hollowed Fountain. Okay, we untap. Draw a second Lotus Field? I mean, that seems like it might be a broken thing to do. Play second Lotus Field? Because we have 2 Puppetries. So for 3 mana, we can get 6 mana back and draw a card. That seems sweet. We also have Spell Pierce plus Echoing Truth. So my opponent will get to Factor Fiction here, because I can't stop that. They have Veil of Summer. So let's do, like, Veil of Summer versus, I don't know, the rest of the cards. We don't really care if they gain life or play lands. The problem is them having a counterspell and a Veil of Summer. Opponent plays a land. They have Veil of Summer, 4 unknowns, and they took it over Uro and 4 other cards. On their own end step, they're casting Nexus of Fate. And if I Spell Pierce this, they just Veil of Summer. Okay. Okay. They're gonna play Teferi? Oof. Can't really do anything about that. I can try and Spell Pierce it, because at no other time is Spell Pierce going to be good. This would prevent them from playing a Wilderness Reclamation if they have to pay for it or counter this. Okay, opponent Veils of Summer in response. That does give them just enough mana to potentially Wilderness Reclamation. Yeah, alright. They play a Flooded Strand, and they're going to pass. So in reality, we just need like another arcane spell. I mean, that counts. Okay. So Splice. Splice? For 3 mana? Draw a card, untap both Lotus Fields? You gotta counter that. That's terrifying. Force of Negation. Okay. Reach through the Mists. Splice. Splice? 3 mana, get 6 back, draw a card? Do they have something else, really? That would be frustrating. Mystic Sanctuary. Putting Force of Negation on top of their deck. They could, like, Growth Spiral into it, I guess. They remand. Okay. So they have Force of Negation now. And our counter spells are useless. Yeah, I really wish we splashed green for Veil of Summer. Okay, so we pass turn. Opponent's turn. They draw Force of Negation. They uptick to Fairy. They play Wilderness Wreck. They play Jace the Mind Sculptor. They Brainstorm. So they have Force of Negation, 2 unknown cards in hand. So we untap. Draw another Reach Through the Mists. Alright, let's try it again. Splice Puppetry. Splice Puppetry. This first one's gonna get countered. And they have the Force of Negation still. Like, we have to do it to try and get it out of their hand, but... Alright. If we can top deck an arcane spell... and our opponent has to have no more counters. They can reanimate Uro here. Okay, so they get to draw a card. They don't put a land into play. They Brainstorm. Opponent gets so many looks into their deck. They just got to see 4 cards they didn't see last turn. Looking for a counter. They found a land. Play a second Wilderness Reclamation. They have 2 cards left in hand. Alright. Actually, we don't even really need... we don't even really need an arcane spell, but our Reach Through the Mists and our Serum Visions that we're drawing right now would have to be very good. So my opponent scries with Castle Vantress a lot. We untap. We draw a Merchant Scroll. So we Merchant Scroll, getting a Peer Through the Depths, cast and Splice. Oh, hang on. Control Z, float blue, cast and Splice, cast and Splice. And our opponent has to have no counter spells this turn. If this resolves, we win. But our opponent being able to dig through their entire deck for a counter spell every turn beats us. The other opportunity was, if we had not drawn Merchant Scroll, the idea was what we were going to do is float mana, Psychic Puppetry once, splicing Psychic Puppetry, untap both lands, then cast Past in Flames, then get some draws. But unfortunately, our opponent has beaten us. I could keep trying to do this every turn, but I have to get going for the day. This was much longer than I anticipated. So we will try and play quickly for game 3 here. Alright, round 3, here we go. Lots of card draw, win condition, but... Alright, I'm going to keep this off of hoping we draw the combo on Opt here. Mystical Dispute and Spell Pierce are very tempting. So, we draw Lotus Field. Pass the turn. Now we just need another land and Psychic Puppetry. Alright, we untap. Draw another Spell Pierce. Oh no. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks Flooded Strand. Gets a Breeding Pool tapped. Untaps. Plays an island. Passes the turn. We untap. Draw Serum Visions. Cast a Serum Visions. Opponent remands Serum Visions, which is super terrible for us. Because now if they land Teferi, I think it's just game. Oh, they're also missing land drops. Maybe not. They discard Uro, we untap, we draw Serum Visions. Cast Serum Visions. They dispute a cantrip. Alright. Pass the turn. We untap, we draw a Lonely Sandbar. Perfect. Play Lonely Sandbar, pass the turn. Leaving up Mystical Dispute and Spell Pierces. Opponent Growth Spirals on our end step. No lands. Okay, opponent plays a land. Passes. Maybe I'm supposed to side out Sorcery Speed cantrips when I'm bringing in the counter spells. That seems better than what I'm doing. Okay, we draw a Merchant Scroll. Cast Merchant Scroll. This should get countered. Okay, opponent remands. Play Lotus Field. Sack Sandbar. Sack Island. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Misty Rainforest. That's unfortunate. They top decked another land. I mean, they kept a hand that had like 3 remands in it, so this is going to be a Wilderness Reclamation. I think. Is it? Okay. We draw a second Lotus Field, which is terrible. Merchant Scroll. We need to get a Psychic Puppetry. Then we Serum Visions. We draw a land. And I want to draw a Reach Through the Mists. Talari Whist on the bottom. Reach Through the Mists on top. Play an island. Pass the turn, leaving up Mystical Dispute. Opponent Fact or Fiction. Spell Pierce. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Plains. They pass. We untap. Draw Reach Through Mists. Okay, float blue. Cast Splice Puppetry on the Lotus Field. Okay. We have 2 counter spells here. Spell Pierce and Mystical Dispute. We kept Reach Through Mists simply because it potentially lets us combo with 1 less mana. So opponent starts Cryptic Command, we Mystically Dispute. Kind of expecting a Veil, we can Spell Pierce, and then our opponent would have to have Force on top of all of that to stop us. Alright. Spell Pierce, Force of Negation. That works. Mystical Dispute. That works. And if we get lucky, this should work too. Okay. Float blue. Peer Through the Depths. Hitting Ideas Unbound. I think it's more important to Ideas Unbound than it is to Peer Through the Depths here. Because we need to kind of recoup cards that we don't have right now. Plus it gives us the opportunity to draw a land. Psychic Puppetry. Splice. Draw a bunch of cards. Untap. Crap. Okay, we can float red. Psychic Puppetry out of hand. I guess we play an island and sleight of hand here. Okay, we found a Twiddle. So float blue, Twiddle, untap, float red, Past in Flames, Twiddle, untap. Oh man, I think we got there. I think this actually does it. Somehow, unbelievably. Okay, Reach Through Mists, Flashback, Splice, Lotus Field. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, we got there. Reach Through Mists, cast Psychic Puppetry, Splice. Alright, casting our other Reach Through Mists with a Splice. Okay, we draw another Psychic Puppetry. So float blue, Psychic Puppetry for 2 mana, pay 1, untap, float blue, Peer Through the Depths, Splice Psychic Puppetry. Okay, pay 1, untap okay, get a Reach Through the Mists, rest of the bottom any order. Yes, we want to untap Lotus Field. Float blue, Reach Through Mists, Splice Psychic Puppetry. Okay, untap. We draw Grape Shot. That means we're going to win. Ideas Unbound, Flashback, Splice Puppetry, onto Lotus Field. Okay. We will untap Lotus Field. Float Blue, Ideas Unbound, Psychic Puppetry, Lotus Field. Okay. Yep. Float Red, Entwine, tap, and then untap. Paying a blue. Just making sure our opponent's not doing anything sneaky. Serum Visions, Echoing Truth, bottom, top, and Grape Shot for lethal. The nice thing about this Storm deck is if you do it just right, and you combo pre-combat main, you can leave Lotus Field untapped past a second main after like tapping your opponent's lands and stuff, and that feels pretty sweet. F6 for victory. Alright, well, we did win 2 of them, and I could have definitely won more. That felt powerful even versus Uro, because like we had the ability to run our opponent out of counterspells. Oh, not Jeskai, Lotus Field. I want Twiddle-storm. That's the one. It felt like we had enough to deal with all those counterspells. Maybe Veil of Summer is not necessary just because it requires another color. This deck being basically mono blue is really sweet. Being able to run basic islands just to get around stuff like Blood Moon for the most part is awesome. Being able to Echoing Truth Blood Moon is great. I don't really have a lot else to say, and I have a lot else to do, so I'm going to let this one go for now. If you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember, you can follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, though the last few have been earlier. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I want to thank you all for watching. We're basically 2/3 the way to monetization. I don't know if I've hit 666 subscribers by the end of this, but that's the 2/3 point. And I'm really excited about it. So thank you all so much for watching. You're all wonderful human beings. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!